guys. Hey, we're back. We're back in hometown, HQ, right? Just got back from Florida. Had a great trip. What you think?
Yeah. I had an awesome time. Enjoyed visiting the great state of Florida.
Sunshine State. Man, I got sunburned. In that couple hours in Florida sun, I got sunburned.
That's what
you're as red as that shirt.
I was, man. You should have seen my feet, my back. It was cherry tomato.
I warned you as we were sitting out there, Jersey boys.
It wasn't that long though, was it?
No, it was maybe an hour. I don't know, Justin.
It wasn't long.
I was
just kidding.
As me and Kim were sitting out on the beach enjoying a cold cerveza, and Justin had his 3 Diet Pepsis because he was upset because they didn't have Diet Coke there.
Baking.
Little plug on both of them, I guess. But hey, one cool thing that when we got back, I don't know about y'all, my Lincoln blew up, and just people saying, "Hey, glad I got to meet you. Hey, do you want some money?" Banks, different kind of people reaching out to us, glad to meet us, and that's what's cool about getting there. And it was a level up, like we did.
Yeah, I had someone approach me saying, "Hey, I'm going to a conference, and I just watched your podcast, and now I'm going to approach it a little bit differently."
Yeah,
and that's exactly what we wanted to do.
Just
think about how do you level yourself up and on a conference or anything. So that was really gratifying.
It was. Yeah. It was really cool. And then we got back in this office, and our crew back here got us set up in this new table, new little podcast set up, got some new AV equipment. So we won't mess up that mic again, which I did have a shout out to somebody that did say, "Hey, your mic sounded so much better." So we got you tuned in. So we're doing some new audio equipment here too, and a new desk, a little higher top. So hey.
It's comfortable. Thank you.
We leveled up.
Yeah, we did.
But hey, again, I want to remind everybody here, we don't have any big national sponsors. We're just giving this away. How you can really help us and help us, promote this is subscribe. I'm hearing from all our analytical team, and Justin spends a lot of time with these guys in the back scene. And I mean, get tons of downloads, tons of likes on all the different platforms, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and YouTube. And that's how I watch it. YouTube, I got to see pictures.
Yeah.
I love watching YouTube. And when I watch YouTube, other podcasts, I like watching the people because I want to know who's behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me fix my hair a little different when I see myself. And like, okay, didn't look good that day, but we're going to fix that. But no, I need you to subscribe. And that's what they're telling us, Justin, right? Everybody's watching this, and even good friends of mine like, "Hey, man, I watched your podcast, but I didn't know it comes out on Tuesday. Is it every Tuesday?" Like, if you subscribe, it tells you. Mine sends me a little message, "Hey, so-and-so who I follow or who I've subscribed to just posted a new video." So we need you to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And subscription is no commitment. It's just subscribe. You'll get an
free.
alert.
Follow us. I mean, if you like the content, follow it. If not, swipe to the next one. But it would really help us out and mean the world.
There's a ton of podcasts out there that are, doing different things, right? There's people out there promoting themselves, promoting their business, promoting themselves, whatever they're doing. We're just promoting each other out in the field, trying to help people do better at what they're doing in life in general and business, so we can share some nuggets because we feel good about this. And the biggest thing I love about this, guys, is truly we hold ourselves accountable for what we talk about, and we can kind of go back and recalibrate ourselves after we talk. Because Justin might throw a crazy gold nugget, like, "Hey, man, we need to polish that nugget. It got a little dirty there, right?"
Yeah.
And so that's what's cool about it. But hey, let me introduce everybody. Forgot that. I'm Chris Olexa, your host, your CEO, founder of Aspire to Be Hospitality Group. And to my left over here.
Yeah, Kimberly Olexa, Aspire to Be founder and CFO of Aspire to Be.
There you go. And over here, my man.
Justin Smith, run operations, chief operating officer for Aspire to Be.
Yeah, and obviously doesn't tan too well. So
it takes a couple weeks. It'll sink in.
It will.
A couple episodes from now.
He looks pretty tan
man,
right
he's
now.
a new shade.
Yeah. But hey, these topics come to us all the time, and it's random, either by email or somebody in the street or what. And we're kind of shifting a little bit of what our topics. We have a list of topics, but sometimes these topics come to us from our field team, from our employees, from guests, from just people that's watching our podcast. This is one that we brought up the other day, actually, while we were in Florida, that we were approached about, and it's about tipping.
Yeah.
It's a hot topic. We say that about every podcast we say, but everything's hot right now.
It's a lot. It's making a lot of noise out there.
It is. Yeah. It is. So I challenge you to say, "Hey, I want to talk about tipping." You're like, "Okay, let's roll with it." Yeah. So, and I want to discuss on all three because you see things totally different. Obviously, I know you do see it totally different. But we're going to look at tipping as an employer, as an employee, and as a guest. I
Yeah.
want to attack it that way. But I did some research on this, right? And it's kind of kick it off. Like, when did tipping actually start? When did it start? So in the 17th century, like in England,
Oh, we're getting
yeah,
historical here.
it had pictures in this book I read.
I love it.
Nice.
17th
Nice.
century. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So in England, what they would do when people would go in taverns, the wealthy or the wealthier
Yeah.
would sneak money to the server or bartender under the table or put it in their coat to say, I want better service, or I want to
Mhm.
be served first, or
Mhm.
prompt service.
Mhm.
So then I went for another step, and you think, okay, the word tipped,
Mhm.
what does tip mean? And it's to ensure prompt service.
Yeah.
So people would tip before, like, "Hey, I'm here." You see people do it all the time, like, "Hey, how do I get in the front of the line?"
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
How do I?
Oh, we do it at resorts.
Yeah, you try to do it at resorts, like, "Hey, hey, I don't want to wait in this line. How do I get up there?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then instead of just sneaking up there,
Mhm.
and so, but now the service side of it has taken that to a level of you tip after because it depends on your service you received.
Mhm.
So, one thing that I do, and I'm gonna start this out because whenever we open a new Buffalo Wild Wings, and you brought this up in our meeting the other day, that whenever we open a new Buffalo Wild Wings or service model store, Mellow or whatever it is, that's a service, somebody comes to the table and waits on you. Is I've always told our servers this. It's like we're like a what do you call it, like a flea market.
Mhm.
Or you go travel you're on I guess a Mexican vacation. You go over there and you go to the markets, and everybody's selling the same thing. Everybody's walked through there and they're like, "Hey, come over here! I got this
Yeah.
shirt, or I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
whistle or hat," and they're screaming at you. Hell, you're kind of like, "Oh," but this guy is selling the same thing. But this guy's not being aggressive, and this guy is. So you might buy from him. He has a really clean shop, and I tell our servers that we give you 4 tables. You get
Yeah.
4 tables or 3. It depends on what level of server you are. And this girl might walk out, boy, girl, with $300, $200, and this guy might walk out with $50.
Mhm.
Well, they waited on their little section way better. They kept it clean. They be a better service, got to the table quickly, served the drinks faster.
Right.
So I think that's the model of this. But on the business side of it, I mean, we need to dive into this as an employer. What do we look at as a service model, and how do we handle those tips?
Yeah. So, as business owners or on the business side, of course, it's the tip credit, the advantage for businesses that we get to take advantage of for our servers. So, they get a small wage, and then their tips account for, they have to at least make the minimum wage. So, anything over than that, anything over minimum wage is just theirs, right? Or
Yeah.
it's not the liability of the company to pay. So, our servers in the industry, they can make 10%, they can make 5%, they can make 10%, they can make 20%, or they can make nothing.
Yeah.
It just how they approach the guests. And that's what we kind of teach them. This is your space. This is your market area. This is your business inside of our business. I think that's the most important part. I think that's what you're trying to say there, is that we give these servers a platform to make as much money as you possibly can with our guest. We're doing all the marketing as a business owner. We have marketing already. We've put the building up. We've given you the great opportunity to own your own business within our 4 walls. And so they can make some jack if they
Yeah.
know how to approach a customer.
I like how you said that. And that's how we do approach it. That, when you're a server or a bartender, we'll get over here into that bartender in a minute, that you're in a business inside of a business, right?
You are.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you represent
You can be.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
represent yourself. One of our sons was a server.
Yeah.
He still serves in our Buffaloes when he comes back out for college, and he'll come in like, "Dad, I made $150 tonight, or I made $70."
Mhm.
But we talk about his service model and how he's a business. So when you come to work, you should be prompt and ready, and you should have a clean section. And every time somebody gets up, I'd be clean that table and get it ready for the next one so they can sit that table. And Justin, you were a bartender. You know how that worked, right?
Yeah, I mean, tipping for me, like there's a circle of tipping in 2023 that was probably not even close to what you were talking about in 1700.
Yeah.
And we're talking about tipping things like whether it's a coffee or serving a beer,
Mm.
you're tipping on a service that you're expecting to get. But nowadays you might pull up to that window and they're flipping around a device and putting it in your face, and you're having to hit no tip. or you're having to select what that tip is. And what that is the employer is trying to pass some of that wage onto the guest. So from a guest perspective, you're like, oh my goodness, I have to now tip on a coffee, or I have to now tip on, all of these
Yeah.
crazy things. Well, from, a business perspective, it's, there's a lot of labor pressure. There's a lot of inflation out
Absolutely.
there right now.
Absolutely.
So the alternative is, yeah, we can charge a little bit more for our coffee if you'd like us to and turn tipping off, or we can give our staff an opportunity to build rapport with someone, to get know their name, to do something exceptional and have them earn something. And that's really what it's gotten to for me. And I mean, thank you for bringing up the bartending. I mean, we can go, if you are looking from my perspective at credit card tips, for example, in our industry, it's anywhere from 15 to 25%. And typically the ones that are not giving good service are more towards 15%. The ones that are giving exceptional service are more towards 25%. I think no matter what, the end all be all is, if you're going to give a tip to someone, you're serving hot food hot, you're serving cold drinks cold, and tipping doesn't always have to be the ambiance or the experience. It can also be things like speed. I my promise time was 8:15. I walked in and they had it hot and ready and fresh at 8:15, and I walked out. That's a great experience that might be worthy of an extra buck because you had somewhere to be. So you could nickel and dime all aspects of tipping, but this circle of tipping as it stands today and the conversation of today is crazy. You're tipping on everything.
Yeah, but I think that some people get aggravated though.
Yeah.
That they do get aggravated if you come to the window and you turn around the kiosk and say how much.
That's really awkward.
Yeah,
It
it is
is.
awkward, but you know what? It doesn't have. It's a mentality, right? So we can switch our mentality. We can actually, when that kiosk comes through the window at me, I can choose to tip if I want, and if I don't, it's okay. I don't have to tip. It's nothing that we have to do, right? And you need to be okay not giving that tip if you don't think the
When you
service
want to
was
tip,
provided.
what's going on in your head?
Yeah,
When you want to give a buck, what did they do?
I want to bless somebody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I feel that whoever's at that window is being very nice to me,
Yeah.
is being polite to me, I want to bless her or him, and I want to give back.
Mhm.
Now, if the person at the window has an attitude and feels like I am an inconvenience for me buying the coffee or the
service, like,
cookie
yeah.
or whatever, the service that I'm getting, I don't give them a tip, and
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about it either.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, if we could switch the mentality here, because I see a bunch of rumble out there, like, I can't believe these people expect me to do, tip. But really, it's not an expectation. It's just look at it as an opportunity to bless somebody
Bless somebody that's done something good.
that's done something
That
good.
is-
Yeah,
As an
don't reward
employee,
bad
to
behavior.
your story, if I learn that these things for my regulars or my people coming through my drive-through or sitting my table make them give me an extra buck, I'm going to start replicating that and
Yeah.
start doing it more. And instead of making $100 a week, I'm making 150.
Absolutely.
When you say the mentality of people, I mean,
Yeah.
there is a difference, right? There's a difference of going to a fast food joint or a cookie place, and they're not making minimum wage. They're making more than minimum wage, but they're not making the tip minimum wage that we pay, like servers.
Yeah.
Servers,
right.
servers, but they also have to earn that too.
Mhm.
But so that's where I think the frustration where people are getting it these days, because we do have it at our different brands.
Mhm.
They have a tip when they pay the credit card. They don't have to tip, and that's the thing. What you're talking about, those people that are waiting on you at a counter or at a cookie shop or a fast food restaurant. That's just an extra if they went far and beyond, or if you feel like you really
That's
want to
right.
do something.
Yeah.
The mentality of, and also when somebody's waiting on you in a restaurant, those people are only making like $2.15, $2.13, whatever it is an
Oh,
hour.
yeah. Please
So
be clear on that.
That,
Yeah.
that those are different
Yeah.
models.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
where and I always said this because I'll have a friend of mine, people call me like, terrible service. I didn't leave her a tip at all. Like, I never do that. I'm a good tipper because, we're in the business
Yeah.
and we know how tough it is
Right.
with people these days. But I never been so upset that I walk away from a table that I didn't leave anything, because I want to leave something like 10%, because I felt like that's going to tell somebody, okay, they tipped me, they didn't forget me.
Yeah.
And we get
And I
these.
think 10% says that.
It does. It tells her like, because if they want that 15% is what they wanted. When I feel like you do 20, it's like, hey, you did a really good job.
Right.
And that's where I think on the mentality, first on the tipping side of it, and I have friends of mine from way, way back that used to complain, I can't believe I don't go tip to any restaurant. It should be they should pay their employees more and not make me employ. Well, let's get it clear, guys. We're all in a business to make business. Restaurants don't make a lot of money. We make pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
If we were to have to pay all of our servers $15 an hour, whatever minimum wage is, it's going to be, we would have to mark our product up.
Them wings would be high.
Them wings would be high. So you're going to tip no matter in it or out of it.
Yeah.
So, with that, but
No
then
doubt.
also our employees are all the hospitality side of it, even the fast food guy. If you step out there and work a little harder, right, and put a little bit of extra smile, a little bit extra juice in there, you're going to get a bigger tip. And I
Oh, yeah.
made this a long time ago in one of our podcasts, and it's on my reel. It's going, I keep seeing it pop up, and it's about me, carrying groceries out. And
Yeah.
I said the same thing every time, and everybody give me 50 cents, 50 cents. And I noticed if I didn't say a word, I didn't get anything. But if I said something, just was polite and went extra, opened the door for the lady, they felt like obligated then, And I think
But didn't you feel good too?
I did. I felt
As
like,
a person?
I felt like I was appreciated too,
Yeah.
because I stepped out of my comfort zone because I wasn't a talker,
Right.
but I realized for me to make money, that's what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if employees, if you're in the business of serving at a cookie counter, serving at a fast food restaurant, somehow you're facing the guest and you're making a minimum wage. But if you put a little extra little sauce in there, and you're a little speaking and, hey, how's your day today? Not just say, welcome to here. What would you like? Hey, how's your day today? The weather's pretty nice today, right?
Yeah.
Make some comments like summer's coming soon, something.
The
People are gonna tip you.
wonderful thing about tipping is there's not a ceiling on it.
Yeah.
So you might come in and get 18, 20% from someone, build rapport with them, find out what team they like, what food they like, how they like to be served, what their wife's favorite team is, and the dynamic of that family or that couple or that individual person. And you might make 20%, 20%, 20%. But there's no ceiling to when you start creating that experience for them and start providing them awesome service, that might resonate into 25% or 30% or one extra visit a month to come and see you. Thinking about tipping in that light where you could, the sky's the limit is a much stronger place to go
Yeah.
than the 10% argument. Like, how do I get them to come back one more time and see me? It's like, oh my goodness, hope you enjoyed the Mets game tonight. Hey, they're playing Friday night at 7:30. I'm bartending. I'll see you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking all week, how do I get them to tip me 30% Friday night? What do I got to do? What did they eat?
Yeah.
What were they talking about? That's where tipping flourishes in our industry. And that's why tip credit's there, because
That's right.
that's why it's called the hospitality industry.
That's
because
right.
we need to
We
go all
serve.
in serving and provided excellent service.
Yeah.
And there's a million versions to do that. But that's where my bartending experience, I love this topic because I got enamored as being an introvert and not being very good at talking to someone. When you turn it into a business, your business was my section of 4. My business was, I'm not very good at talking to people. So I need to learn to relate, because I equated that to making more money. And that's a selfish thought, but it's how I'm
No, it's
wired.
true.
It's like,
It
hey,
is.
Yeah.
I'm going to make more if I learn what teams these people like and I get it on their TV as they're walking in the door. It's like, holy crap, I made $2 because as they were walking in, I put their game on. I'm going to do that for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because when our kids, even, when they were going out for the first time at 16 and on their own, and hey, mom, dad, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we're going to go eat. And me and Kim always remind them, okay, make sure you tip your server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll go with their friends,
Yeah.
and those like, please make sure you tip your servers, because first they know who you are, and then second
Yeah.
is the kids didn't understand that's, and I didn't understand that years back. Remember?
Yeah, because it's not a taught art.
No,
No
it's not.
one's teaching us how to tip our hospitality industry.
Mm.
It's not talked about unless it's talked about with parents at home, right?
Mm.
So and the servers, they can't go up to you and educate our young
Yeah.
folks out
Yeah,
there. You
that
know,
don't go too
That's
well.
very-
That don't go too well.
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
very awkward. So it is. I feel sorry for our servers and that respect, because a lot of times these kids that do service our frequent our dining experience or whatever, or their dining experience, they don't know to tip.
Yeah.
And so it's not that the kids are being ugly, or They just don't know.
They don't
They don't
know.
know what they don't know, and they don't tip.
And that's
it makes it hard for our servers because then they're like, I don't want to wait on a table full of kids. They're not tipping me. I'm just going to make $2.13 for this hour.
and on
And
the
so that stinks for us.
on the business
But
side, that's why we push to get our tickets where it's wrote, 15, 18, 20%, right?
yeah,
To remind those
Yeah.
younger guests and people that don't know, and like I've read this too in Europe, they don't tip. They don't have the tip model in Europe. But I heard the same story and I've watched this many videos about this that they don't get good service either. It's just like, here's your water, and it's very slow service. But
Without
here,
ice.
yeah, so yeah, but on the business side of it too, guys, this is what's scary too, right? Let's talk about on our side. We get excited when our servers get big tips, right? But
Mhm.
around the holidays, we get crazy. They get crazy with tips. You got to understand too is when
Yeah.
a guest comes in, spends $22 and leaves a $200 tip, we're paying a credit card processing fee, right? On that. So now I'm paying credit card processing. That server gets the $200 cash.
Yeah.
It's not that we back out the credit card, but I'm paying a 2.5%. I think it's now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're paying 2.5% on that credit card processing fee. And then, so it's a business side of us too, that we get ate up on the tips too. So it's like kind of a balancing act too. But then also too, Justin, you see this a lot. Kim, your side of the office hands a lot where somebody comes in, Mr. Big business owner walks in and, gets a cold beer at a bar on Christmas and he writes the bartender $1,000 tip. Guys, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
And what happens with that too?
Yeah, so we hold our breath and hope to goodness it's not a chargeback.
Yeah.
Because if Mr. Whoever is not a big tipper, his bank will automatically charge us back for that tip, and we can't do anything about it. It's reversed, and we have to give the $1,000 back, and the server's no longer with us, and they've got $1,000, so the business loses.
And the legislation hasn't caught up to us
No.
yet. So all of that, when we say
Stinks.
chargeback, it's all of this idea of a card not present transaction. So the most secure transaction we can make for a tip in a restaurant is when you put that chip in,
Mhm.
and it's a chip and pin transaction, and we're pretty protected there. But the liability shift years ago, everything else we're basically not. So
Yeah.
that anything can be a chargeback when it comes to that. So we're paying a processing fee. We're liable to someone charging back. And more than ever, let's talk, present day, there's more credit card transactions and less cash in our business that there ever has been. So now we're even talking about how do we take tips and not, insult our servers by them not getting cash that day and get them that cash that day or put it on their paycheck. Because right now we're having to make like cash runs to the stores
Yeah,
because
to
there's no
inject
cash in them
cash.
anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's using their card.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think people understood that too on the
Yeah.
chargeback thing. That if your credit card's protecting itself and if you
Mhm.
walk in and make a 80% tip on something, they're going to charge back without even asking you,
That's right.
and you don't even know it happened. Unless
Yeah.
you're really paying attention to your statements, and you don't even know, and you're not going to call and say, "Hey, I gave a girl a $200 tip, and it's back. I don't see it on my charge." And the bad part about, especially these big ones, you give these, and a lot of employees do quit, but most of them are still with us. But you give some of these employees these $200, $500, $1,000 tips around Christmas, and then 3 days later we get a charge back. We got to go, "Hey, give me the $1,000 back." They're like, "I don't have it.
Yeah.
I paid my car note. I paid my tuition note. Can I pay it out?" Now they're devastated,
Right.
and we might lose a good employee of that because now they're gone.
Right.
So it's a balancing act with that too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those push down legislature things that they didn't think a lot about.
No.
Just push it down to the hospitality industry. They'll figure it out, which we do lead in a lot of aspects of business, but that one stinks for our
I think as
for
an
our
employer,
industry.
we almost always, and I'm sure a lot of business owners do, try as much as possible to take the high road and get that person paid that tip and do it with integrity, especially around the holidays. And we want to
we do
incentivize
it with
awesome service.
100%.
And we do it amazing. So we're kind of painting a dark picture there, but we always try to make good on all of those situations. And it just comes down to, again, it's like, do we allow tipping and do we, do we encourage that behavior to happen, or do we just jack prices up to where they need to be? And it's we don't want to jack prices up.
No,
we want you
absolutely
to
not.
pay as minimal as possible, and we expect our people to give amazing service. And hopefully if you ever come to a decision about, disputing a tip, you say no because that tip was left.
Yeah.
Great topics. Kim, I definitely love how you hit on that part that, when you're at a place and you're being waited on by an employee that's not really in the hospitality business, they're just selling you something up front and they spin the thing around and it says 10, 5 or 15, 20%.
Yeah.
Don't feel obligated to do it. I
No,
would feel if I'm gonna use my stance, if I felt obligated is if they went far and beyond what their everyday job was to be.
that's right.
Yeah. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Here's your cookies. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay. That's normal. But if they went out far and beyond and greeted me in a totally different way and talked about the weather or talked about something else, I feel obligated to that because that young person, Stormy, a young person back there is really hustling,
Yeah.
and that's what we're not lifting up people like that these days because we don't have a lot of hustlers out there.
It's a
Yeah.
coaching moment. When you don't leave
Yeah.
a big tip, it's absolutely a way for someone to go, man, I only got 10%. Where did I break down in the steps of service? I really want to make sure next time I do a great job. It doesn't necessarily mean, leave a bad tip and go blast them on social media.
Yeah.
I'll coach them. If that happens
Yeah.
over and over again, by all
Oh,
means, but it's a coaching moment
it is.
to tell them, hey, this wasn't great today. And as a server or as an ex bartender, if you tipped me 10%, I didn't go, man, that Kim only tips 10%. I went to a place of like, I need to reevaluate that experience. What did I do? Was I too busy? Did my manager not help? Was I by myself and I really needed another bartender and I only fought to be by myself? Like, did I not give the greatest
Yeah.
service in the world I can? Our people are not out there upset with people who are not tipping. They need to be evaluating how do they fix that for the next time
Yeah.
and providing great experience. And it's a misconception that when you flip it around and hit zero, I'm not insulted by that. I got work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to do a better job. But it's still tough, man. When you get that in your face and you hit no tip or you hit 10%, it's tough.
It is, and especially in the world it is right now, where
Yeah.
we're at. But I want to say one thing too to all us hospitality business owners: we have to do a better job of teaching our servers that it's not just given; it's earned. It's
Yeah.
it's
It
it's
is earned.
it is earned. Yeah, you should get 10%, but if you want the 20%, the hires, you gotta go out and get it.
You do.
And it's
You need to.
I think in our industry, and I challenge our brands too of about, we talk about the value of the brand and what people look at the value of what they get when they come to one of our places. It's our job in the hospitality side, and we're failing at that miserably. The whole business is, from the hotel business, from anything that deals in the hospitality business. It's totally changed. And I don't want to blame it on COVID. I don't blame it on, I don't know what it is, but it's different than what it was before years back. What good service was really meant to be and how it has to be taught. But we got to do a better job at that, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's a challenge.
it is. It's challenge accepted
Continuous
though, right?
challenge. Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
that's one of
what
the
we're
things
in.
we look at each other. When I say this, I look at my losses. I feel like we're losing at that. And we challenge our teams all the time that we got to get better at that. And we still struggle. Believe me, some people let me know.
Yeah.
that we struggle with some stores or had some bad incident happen, and we're gonna address it. I promise you. Every guest comment you send to one of our stores or to us personally or to our 1-800 comment, believe me, it is ran across these people's desk, and we look at it and we hold the people accountable for it. So, but hey, curveball time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's curveball time. So, this is the
Have that
question.
pad.
I do have a pad because I
What
want
do
to
you
make
got
sure.
on
I
it?
want to make sure I'm
It's
not going to let you
curveball.
sit. I'm going to ask. Let's see. I'm going to ask
I have my
Justin this
glasses
one
on
first.
anyway.
All right. Well, here we go.
What is one of your biggest regrets in life?
Ooh. Uh, I'll get deep on this one. And there's one thing that always comes to mind. And I, for 11 years, have not had alcohol. And I grew up with it being a norm, accepted. And I feel like I lost a lot of years of my life in the beginning stages of my career with my wife and a lot of my family in I was always thinking about the next party or after the shift going to the bar, and I didn't struggle. I wouldn't say alcoholism was there. I had a problem with like only being able to have one or two.
Yeah.
I would always want to have more and extend the party, and became the life of the party. And I always saw it as a means to shut my mind down. And I just didn't realize that there was highs in life on so many other things. So my
Mm.
biggest regret is anywhere from like the call it 18 to 26 years old. I spent a lot of time in those years, and I don't have a lot of good memories, and a lot of my worst decisions ever were made. And there's one common denominator. So I don't pass judgment on anybody who drinks. I'm I'm
Yeah,
Red
'cause
Bull
I
on the
like my
rocks
Shiner.
or Diet Coke on the rocks. Yeah, I mean, have at it. I can still
Yeah.
be the life of the party without
Absolutely you
alcohol.
are.
But when I think
Yep.
about regrets and looking back, I wonder what those years would have looked like if
Oh,
I'm the
Yeah.
me of now back then. And I
Yeah.
think a lot about that for people who are the closest to me.
yeah.
I'm glad you shared that because,
Wow.
I'm glad you see these questions, and I hope I'm not going to surprise y'all with some of these questions. But I think it's important that I know you, Justin, and I know your past, and Kim does too. I didn't know you were going to answer the question that way, but I'm
good.
familiar with that too. And when we go to conferences or we go to meetings, you know, I make sure that when I go to the bar or walk up to get me a drink and Kim a drink, I'd get you a Red Bull,
Yeah.
or a Diet Coke.
Sugar-free Red
And,
Bull on the rocks.
I've never said,
Yeah.
"Come on, have
Love
this
it.
drink," because I know that's what your battle, and you've overcome that, and that's pretty awesome, man. But
Thank you.
I do these questions because I want people to really know who you are, because there's people out there that have the same questions too, that are challenging themselves with how they're going to better themselves in life. So, dude, thank you, man. That's
I
pretty
think about the
cool.
money I would have had as a bartender.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, then, but
Wow.
Got a lot of tips.
Yeah.
I'm
Lots
looking at it this way. If you went,
There's some irony there.
You might not be sitting right beside me though today, though.
True.
If that
Absolutely.
happens. So things
Yeah.
happen. So, Kimberly, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
You had time to think about it.
The whole time Justin was talking, I'm like, what am I going to say here? But I guess one of my biggest regrets is, as a mother, we're a female, we do all the things, but I regret specifically growing this empire and kind of watching miss my kids growing up a lot of times. They started off their little lives in the back of a Quiznos, and
That playpen.
this business is hard, rough, fast, and furious. And I was there all the time. I never missed any events, but just on the day-to-day operations of kids, like I don't even pick them up or bring them to school. You do that.
Yeah.
And so as a mom, that just wears on you. And, females, we carry so much regret and so much,
Yeah.
second guessing ourselves. Are we good parents? Are we good moms? Are we good wives? All the crazy emotions that come along with just being a female. But yeah, I think if I could do it over again, maybe figure something else different out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, you are.
I am a
Good industry to be
psycho
in.
control freak, mastermind at puppetizing. I'm
Yeah.
all the things. So
It's a
with that, I'm the perfect person for this industry. And so with that, I'll be able to hand it off to my kids.
yeah.
And so that makes me feel good. But yeah, just missing out on their little lives, and because, man, you don't get that back.
Yeah. It's
Once
hard.
it's gone, it's gone.
It's hard. I know you definitely that's where you're going to go, because we have that conversation a lot, just me and you.
Yeah.
When we're alone, about you get really upset and beat yourself up.
I wanted to be a housewife.
Yeah, you did. You always told me if I was a housewife, I'd have dinner cooked for you every night, and I'd rub your feet, all this stuff.
I'd be on the housewife show.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but that's not what God built you to be. And
No, he didn't. He gave me a voice. He gave me,
and
sound mind, and I appreciate it.
one thing cool about it, we've had conversations, and I've had conversations with the kids, with those thoughts that you've talked about, and what your past was like. And I don't think they see it exactly the way you see it.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Thank
they
God.
see they look at you
don't.
as like a trophy, and you run to their games, maybe with your phone to your ear, or something open, looking at some paperwork or something. But you're right there when they hit the ball, and they look back at you like, yeah, she's here. So you did a
Yeah.
good job with that. But it is a regret, because it is.
It
This is not.
Because
This
you
is
just
not.
get one shot, right? You get one shot at life.
That's right.
You only get one.
So true.
And man, you want to get to the end of this life, because you can't take nothing with you. So it's like you're going to have regrets. You're going to have bumps in the road. But at the end of the day, you did the best you can do. And, I hang my hat on that. I did the best I could do.
Yeah.
Do
Well,
we get to throw the curveball
back at me.
over
Yeah.
your way?
What's your regret?
Hey, it's funny that when I come up with these
Now that you
questions,
threw that
it's
out.
just to dig a little deeper with y'all, to share our story a little bit more. I don't think what my answer is going to be, because me, I don't prep really for anything. I did prep for this tip thing, because I really know what the word tip, where'd it come from?
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I prepped on. So I didn't prep on this, but when you just hit that at the end about your regrets, again, Justin, I'm going to answer it this way. I don't have regrets in life. I don't.
Oh boy.
If there is regrets, if anything, I wish I could have just been a better father and a better husband, and just those because everything that's happened in my life is what built me. And I'm proud of that. I'm dealing with this just the cancer issues. I don't regret that because it was given to me instead of somebody else. I can handle it. So I don't regret it because it made me better. And when you brought up the thing too about picking up our kids and dropping them off, that was a thing you told me like years back when I didn't slow down. I was so engulfed in the business, and then God gave me had cancer. And at that moment I said, I want to pick my kids up and drop them off every day. That's my thing. I like doing that because I'm there for them.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't have regrets, but if there was any regret I have in my life, I wish I could have just been probably there a little bit more
Yeah.
for both of y'all, for the kids and you. Yeah.
Well, you were always there for me. We work arm to arm every day.
But there's a business side and there's a
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
relationship
Sure,
side
sure, sure,
because
sure.
there's those many a times. Jesse, I don't know if you get this. We talk so much at the office. She comes in my office, but it's all business. And me and Kim have the best business life, and we have the best home life too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't separate too much, and it's hard to separate that. But I learned this too. So maybe the regret is not sitting by the bathtub and listening to you talk. Because you've come and you're like, hey, I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And
You
normally in
know.
the business, you come in the office and we talk, and I do most of it because you're throwing ideas, and I come back with a challenge. But here, you just tell me, just don't answer. Just let me talk about my day.
Yeah, that's all girls
Yeah.
want to talk. We want to talk. We don't want you to solve. We just want you to listen and let
Yeah.
us talk.
So that's a regret, maybe. There it goes. I should have sat by the bathtub a little longer and just shut up and just look
Yeah.
at you.
We're
So,
forever learning.
here we
That's why this-
are.
I feel you on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In relationship, us guys just never figure it out until the last day. It's like,
In summary, man, when we say people drive profits, it takes people and humans to run these businesses, and it's long, it's grueling, it's hard work, it's adrenaline
Yeah.
junkie. You got to be a junkie if you want to be in the hospitality
You do.
industry and starting a business. And I enjoyed hearing both of your perspectives on that, and it's very real.
Yeah.
it is.
All of it.
It's real for all of us. And people don't understand this, and this will close it up this way. The word entrepreneur is a flashy word. I keep saying, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It is one of the toughest jobs, titles, whatever you could get into.
Oh yeah. Punching a time clock is so much easier.
Sometimes
Punch
it
that
is.
sucker and go home.
Sometimes it is because it is grueling. If you're getting in this kind of business, if you're looking out and you're challenging yourself, get ready. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of time away from everything. I don't play golf anymore. I don't do much of anything besides focus on here and try to put my little 5 buckets. We'll get into that another topic. That's what I use. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. But I'm glad I got a Superman team with me because
Yeah,
we
me
got some
too.
great stuff. We'll end this episode right here, but we got some great stuff to be sharing here pretty soon that we've been working on. Super excited in the conference room. Got a lot of stuff moving around and some deals that we've been working on that I'm ready to blow up. Yeah.
Always
Yes, sir.
working.
Always
Ready to
work-
move
This
forward.
room is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting this together.
Yeah.
And kicking off our first episode with the new desk setup
It
and the
is.
sound.
It is cool. It is cool.
This is awesome.
Well, thank you guys again, and we'll see you real soon. Now, remember, go subscribe, guys.